nice. The last video that I posted on YouTube was the first voiceover video that I'd ever done, and it now has about 5 times more views than any video I've ever posted on YouTube. So apparently you guys like that, so we're going to try it again here and see how it goes. This collection of clips is from riding out in Big Bear, which is near LA out in California, and this was kind of part of my 3-month adventure around the US on my KTM 950, and my parents actually live out in the LA area, so I was able to go out there and visit them for a while. And it was also really nice because I could take all my camping gear off the bike and go ride for a while. And it's a great reminder of just how much more fun a bike is when it doesn't weigh, 600 pounds. So it was good to get out without all the luggage on. As with the other clip, my dad's riding his F650GS behind me. Some of this was a little bit of a struggle on that bike, just with it not being all that torquey, and it was a hot day too, so we were working the bikes hard, even not riding that fast. You can hear occasionally, it sounds like I'm talking to myself. My dad and I actually have Sena headsets in our helmets, so we can talk to each other while we're riding. It was something that was kind of new to both of us, but it was really nice because if there was some obstacle or someone was coming, we could warn the other person about it. If one of us crashed, we'd say, hey, I'm down, I need help. Come back and save me. Big heavy bikes are a lot easier to pick up with 2 people. So that was nice, and you can use them to listen to music and all that too through Bluetooth. So definitely a good investment if there's someone or a group of people you ride with regularly.
This is every bit.
A lot of the terrain out here is very sandy and wasn't really what I was used to on a bike, and the 950 is very nose heavy. So in a straight line it was great, I could crank the throttle and go, but I wasn't used to the feeling of the front end pushing and wallowing around. This was still pretty early in the day too. We had ridden about 2 hours on the road to get here. So we were still pretty fresh and excited to be there. Later on you'll notice we're not quite as aggressive with the throttle, not standing as much, and that's when you start crashing and all that, which of course we also did that. So. The whole time we were out there we saw maybe 3 other people, 2 bikes and a quad. Surprisingly empty considering how nice of an area it seemed to be to ride. The 950 was great on this stuff too. You can really tell that it's got the desert racer roots. At the top of that hill there was a car, just a Camry or something sitting there. I have no idea how it got up there. The GoPro always makes everything seem flatter than it really is. This was fairly steep, and I'm not that comfortable with downhills, especially on a heavy bike. I always feel like I'm going to get out of control and can't stop. So I'm trying to take it easy, and you can see I still bottom it out a little bit in some of those holes. Front suspension on a LC8 is very, very soft, and I had stiffer springs in mine, but it still wasn't enough. It was about 85 degrees out when we were out here, and LC8s are kind of known for running on the hot side. Before I'd started my trip, I'd installed a second fan, and both fans were going almost the whole time. Going up this hill, I'm in second gear, probably 3,000 RPM, 4,000 RPM most of the time. There just wasn't enough airflow to keep it cool. Even Dad's F650 started spraying coolant out of it at one point. But you just keep an eye on the temp gauge and it seemed to do fine. The bike's got 75,000 miles on it at this point. A lot of these trails are really whooped out. On a big heavy bike, it takes a lot of suspension to control that. The 950 was doing okay. The F650, it's one of the twin cylinder ones. Just, it didn't have enough damping and it didn't have enough travel, so you kind of had to take it a little bit slower. This section up here got a little steeper and was a little bit loose. You can see all the rocks that are strewn across the trail. Dad actually ended up getting caught on a rock up here. You'll see there's a rock, let's see, on this corner that I'm coming into now. It upsets the bike a little bit, and apparently Dad had hit that, and it had somehow gotten his bike pointed up the side of the hill, so he ended up with the front tire up on top of that berm on the right. And it ended up taking us a couple tries to get out of there. And that sapped a lot of energy. Once you wear yourself out like that, you can see I'm sitting down now. I'm resting. I do like the rocks that are kind of embedded in the ground, but you can see here I was tired from helping Dad out. If I'd have had more momentum, I could have just rolled right through there, been fine. Stand up and go.
Oh, you went down?
And you can hear me say in my helmet, "Oh, you went down?" Dad hadn't made it up that either. I like these embedded rocks that are kind of stuck in the ground. You can hear them hitting my skid plate though, and the F650 had even less ground clearance than this, and I'm pretty sure I could actually hear my dad's skid plate hitting those rocks through the Senna headset. That's why you put a good skid plate on your bike, I guess.
You need some speed. Let's see actually if that does anything.
And up here is when the rocks come out to bite me. I stay on the high side of the trail and hit the steering stops and leaned the wrong way, and then ended up throwing it into the ground. The handlebar actually hit my foot on the way down. I had a sore foot for a couple days after that. You can see me walking it up backwards, and there's some gas on the ground, and it's just what you gotta do with a big bike.
Assuming we can get on it.
This trail here was kind of the way out. We had come in this way, so we'd seen it before.
I don't know, it might be a lot harder.
And it was
up.
kind of more of a mountain bike trail, I think. There was evidence of other dirt bikes, and there weren't any signs saying we couldn't go there. But in Indiana, the trails are a lot more like this than they are those wide quad trails. And this is what I really like.
Yeah. Of course, I was riding it like I was on a mountain bike on the way down. Momentum. Can't do that.
Going up it was quite a bit harder on a big bike, though. Going down, you just roll down it. Momentum's your friend. I had taken my crash bars off the bike right before this. I actually ended up shipping them home because they got in the way so much. those crash bars weigh quite a bit, being solid steel tube. But they were so wide that they would get caught on stuff on the side of the trail. And there were a few times on this section and on other sections in this park where it would have been too wide. If I had had those crash bars on there, I wouldn't have been able to get through. I put the 990 tank guards on my 950 tanks and crashed on them many times and never had any issues. So if you do a lot of off-road riding, I almost recommend getting rid of the crash bars. Plus it takes some weight off the front wheel. There's already enough up there. I can see now why so many places require spark arresters too. In Indiana it's never this dry. But out here there's a lot of grass and fires are a big problem, so any kind of backfire could light up the whole forest. And yes, we both had spark arresters on our bikes. Well, thanks for watching, guys. There will be more clips to come from this trip. My hard drive's full, so I guess I need to get cracking, get that cleared out.